Okay, minasan, today we're gonna talk about Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger episode 26. This is the finale for part 1 of the story. Just as Kamen Rider Geese actually ended the story, Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger ended their part 1 of the story itself. So I don't know, man. Like, let me know in the comment section below. Do you actually think that they are gonna nail the second part of the story? Because apparently it is actually gonna be alien invasion. Okay, so that is really something crazy. But we're gonna save the talk for episode 27 of Ohsama Sentai in the preview video. Today we want to talk about episode 26. Okay, we need to talk about a few things that has been set up for all of us in this episode. So the one thing that they set up for us in this episode is definitely the true history of Bugnarak. How did they actually come from? Okay, like where do they even come from? And based on what Himeno actually kind of like do a little bit of research and all that stuff, apparently Bugnarak have quite a similar DNA with human itself, but Himeno actually says that hey, Bugnarak are not used to be human, but they resemble human in some sense or another. When they are in the past, they are not supposed to look so much like a Bugnarak in a sense, something like that. So that is something really interesting for us to actually see happening, that the Bugnarak might not actually be like who we think they are. And I actually have this idea or theory. I don't know if I shared this before or not, but I actually kind of like assume that the Bugnarak might actually be kind of like an evolution of humanity. Like they used to be human, but one actually live on land, but one live underneath the land, and that is why they actually develop into such a different species of different being because of how, or maybe because of their diet, because they need to eat sugar to survive. So they actually start to become more and more like a monster looking creature rather than looking like a human, something like that. So that is kind of like my theory, and I think if you really think about it, the story is kind of similar to Gurren Lagann, because in Gurren Lagann we actually get to see human living underground because they are afraid of the creature that is roaming on the surface of the world itself. And when we actually go to the surface of the world, we actually get to see that the enemy that the human eventually fight are kind of like a crossbreed between human and also kind of like a certain animal, something like that. And we eventually get to learn that the king of the that actually rules over the surface of the world, at the end of the day, is actually a good guy, okay? But in part 1 of the story, he actually is a villain, something like that, and he actually tries to stop people from like inviting the alien invasion, something like that. So this is all really weird and really funny. But then again, I don't know, man. Like, are they copying the story of Gurren Lagann, just kind of give it a little bit of twist? I don't know. Okay, maybe. I'm not trying to call out what is this creative theft, but then again, it maybe they are inspired by Gurren Lagann. Okay, so there is something really interesting. The first thing we want to like I said, the first thing that we learn is whether or not the Bugnarak actually used to be human, something like that. And the second thing that we learn is where does the Bugnarak actually got so many sugar soul from. And we learned that in this episode that they actually gathered the dead sugar from all over the world, and they just power it up in their cave itself, and that is really insane. And most of them that they found is actually the cicada sugar itself. They're like there's just abundance of cicada sugar, and all of them are there, and all of the cicada sugar, they are actually responsible for the event of the Fury of the Gods. So this is kind of like reminding us that hey, don't forget about the Fury of the Gods. We are gonna talk about them in part 2 of the story, hopefully, okay? Because when alien comes, does Fury of the Gods even matter anymore? I think that it still matters, okay? But it's still like maybe like one of the subplot that we can explore, hopefully get to become kind of like a main plot thing. I don't want kind of like maybe the story is gonna be like, hey, alien come, and that's why the Shugod is like running amok, because like the Shugod is like going cray something like that. Okay, so that is kind of like a possible theory. But then again, we actually learned that on this war, based on what we learned in this episode, is that the reason why Shugod fought with the human is because the Bugnarak is eating with the Shugod. So on this war right now, in the Terra that they actually live in right now, there are 3 species: human, and then we got Bugnarak, and lastly we got the Shugods. 3 of them are different species. Okay, so 3 of them are alive and living creature. And even though for Yanma to call the Shugods technology and all those stuff, but it would actually kind of like show us that, hey, maybe they are not all metal, maybe there's a little bit of meat inside of them. Just a theory. I'm not sure whether or not the way I actually goes about thinking like this is correct. Like, it's like when you have a wrong train of thought, it's gonna lead you into the abyss. Okay, so make sure you don't have the wrong train of thoughts when we are actually discussing this entire show itself. Okay, but lastly, I just want to talk about how they actually portray Dethnarak death in this episode. Really crazy stuff. Like, I really love how he actually ended up becoming such a kind of like a nice guy. Like, he has a baby tarantula Shugod that he is actually taking care of and protecting of. So that is really amazing to actually see that Dethnarak is actually a good guy, but he just, like, he was being brainwashed by Kamejim, like by because Kamejim has been kind of like stirring all this war propaganda to him, and so all the hatred against humanity inside of him continues to grow and grow, something like that. So, and eventually he kind of like loses hope that maybe there's even a way for the Bugnarak and human to coexist. But now it came, like the new generation came, and they still, their hope and their fire for a peaceful life still burn bright, and kind of like it kind of like reignited the flame in Dethnarak before he died, and he actually passed on the mission to Jeremy, and he says that, hey, you become the king. You make sure they know Bugnarak live on this world. Make the prices of the Bugnarak known, but not in a bad way, not by killing the people, but coexisting with the human race. So that is something really amazing. But I really love the other side of the story for human as well, where we actually get to see Gira is actually the one that actually kneels down and asks for forgiveness. It's like, yes, you fought us, but we fought back as well. So we just want to say we are sorry, and let's bygone be bygone, something like that. And I just have to say, that is most of the time that is how a war actually ended. Okay, like because like there's like so much pain, so much chaos has been done between two country, two nation. They just, at the end of the day, like, people just get tired of killing one another for meaningless cause, something like that. And I think a lot of the time when a war started, like, we really need to be clear, like, why do we even fight? Why do we even kill one another for some random shit, something like that? So I think Gira did an amazing job. Despite being the youngest king, the newest king among all of them, he is still the first one to ask for forgiveness. So that is something really amazing. So, but one thing that I'm really curious about right now is what is gonna happen to Kamejim. Okay, because it turns out Kamejim is the root cause of all evil. He's the reason why the human and Bugnarak has been fighting way beyond 2,000 years ago. So how does he actually do that? How does he stay alive for so long? We are not sure. Okay, maybe he knows his way. He knows how to kind of like manipulate people, or maybe Kamejin is not actually a Bugnarak itself. Maybe Kamejin could actually be one of the alien that is gonna invade the world in part 2 of the story. Okay, maybe that is the case, or maybe Kamejin actually is a Shugod. I'm not Shugod. Is really a Bugnarak, but in part 2 of the story, he's gonna like join the alien side. Even though we saw him kind of get blasted and got destroyed in this episode by God King-Ohger, but based on the poster and the leaks of part 2 of Ohsama Sentai, we know for sure that Kamejim is gonna make a return. So I do not know why they actually show that Kamejin actually grow big and in this episode. Maybe they just want to show kind of like, hey, a mega fight in this part 1 finale of the episode. So they actually write the story in a sense like Kamejin grow big by eating a sugar soul. But speaking of Bugnarak eating a sugar soul, something Gerojim said in this episode that really got me thinking, okay, because he said that those who add the sugar soul and grow big, they are gonna die eventually. That is really weird, because like I it really makes me wonder, like, is Gerojim even still alive? Like the way he says, like, I am a shadow, I'm a phantom, I'm here, but I'm neither here nor there, and all the stuff, like maybe I'm already died, something like that. So I was like, what? And Gerojim did not actually turn big for one time, but he turned big 2 times, man. Like, so and he still managed to survive. So what is happening? So maybe there's a possibility that Gerojim never actually ate a sugar soul in the first place, because his ability is illusion. He might be able to turn big without eating the sugar soul, and he just kind of like used the illusion to make other people see that he actually turned big, but he never actually ate a sugar soul. So that is one theory. But then again, Kamejin also ate a sugar soul by the end of this episode, and based on what if what Gerojim said is true, then it will actually means that Kamejin would actually be dead. Okay, so or maybe that Gerojim that we saw in Himeno's chamber might not actually be Gerojim itself. It might actually be Kamejin. Okay, because like, what is to say that, oh shit, what if Gerojim is indeed dead? And the Gerojim that has been with Jeremy all this time could actually be Kamejin. I don't think it makes sense. I mean, like, he was chosen by the Shugos to pilot God King-Ohger. So it doesn't make sense, okay? It doesn't make sense. But there is still a possibility here. There is a possibility here. Just want to keep that at the back of our mind some way, in case it even happens, something like that, okay? But with that being said, that is the end for the episode of Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger episode 26. They actually recognize the land, the kingdom of in between, and the king of Bugnarak, Jeremy Jeremy Brassier. I don't know what is his full name, but congratulations, man. Like, you have finally become a king, and it is just the beginning, okay? Like, we are not sure what is to come in part 2. We know Alien is coming, we know Fury of the Gods is gonna come. Hopefully we get to see where does the Bugnarak actually come from, and I also am quite curious to see where does the Shugot actually come from also, okay? So all of these things are answers that we may or may not get, but I'm really excited to learn more about Ohsama Sentai. So that is all from me. Hope you enjoy. If you like what you see, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. I forget something, okay? I forgot to give you guys a word to comment in the comment section below. So this is, if you made it this far into the video, means you actually stay until the very last word that I'm about to say. So the word today is gonna be a throne, okay? THRONE, throne. Why throne? Because Jeremy needs a throne, okay? Like, he needs a chair to be a throne so that he can rule the kingdom of the in-between. So that is all for real this time. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye.